Hi, this is Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. And today we're going to be discussing some topics regarding Social Security, and I brought in a familiar face to some other of our EPCC television shows, Mr. Ray Vigil, who is a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. And thank you, Ray, for coming by and,
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
and taking time out of your busy day to come talk a little bit about Social Security.
Thank you.
I know that I've known you for quite a few years. You've done several workshops for us at El Paso Community College, and I'm glad to have you back and just touch a little bit about Social Security. So tell me a little bit about Social Security and what it covers.
Okay, well, the Social Security can be a very complicated subject matter, okay? Social Security, first of all, as far as the program, we have several different programs. We have Social Security retirement benefits, we have disability benefits, survivors benefits, and under the same umbrella, we have Medicare.
Okay.
Because when you're actually working and paying into Social Security, you're buying protection for all those four parts of the program.
Right, and that's what we call the FICA Act, right? The Federal Insurance Contributions Act.
Precisely, yes. 6.2 goes into the retirement, disability, and survivors, and the rest goes into the Medicare program.
Okay, so let's talk about Social Security. We always hear this myth that it's not going to exist. Why should I pay into it if those benefits are not going to be available to me? Other than we have to because it's law.
First of all, people don't have an option
right.
as to whether or not to pay into Social Security, because it's a mandate,
right.
unless that your employer has a structured retirement plan where they can actually option out, and of course they can option out if they have a retirement plan by talking to the state Social Security representative. Okay. But individuals should actually pay into Social Security so that they can buy protection for retirement when they reach a retirement age, or in the event of a disability, an accident, they can no longer work, they can actually file for disability benefits. And if due to an accident or an illness they die, most of the time there's still going to be surviving family that needs assistance, so the surviving family can actually depend on Social Security.
So we can rest assured that the program will continue to exist in one form or another, right?
Well, definitely. I've been working for the Social Security Administration since 1973,
okay.
and the same conversation has been taking place year after year, okay? And definitely, Social Security, as we stand right now, the present program that we administer, based on the last report by the Board of Trustees, we can actually guarantee that we have the capability to pay 100% of all the benefits up to the year 2034.
Okay.
Okay. And granted that because of the economy downfall in 2008, at that time we were projecting that we had the capability to pay 100% of all the benefits up to the year 2042. A lot of individuals lost their jobs. They were forced into retirement, disability, unemployment. So we had less people paying into Social Security, and then we're faced with the baby boomer generation.
Sure.
We have at least 10,000 individuals applying for Social Security benefits on a daily basis, okay? So even with the program that we administer right now, and with the projections that we have the capability to pay 100% of all the benefits to 2034, if legislators were not to do anything to amend the program, which they have done for many years back, we would still have the capability to pay 79 cents to the dollar to over 60 million individuals that receive Social Security benefits.
Okay. So, you know, the idea that these benefits are not going to be there, it's
a myth.
It's a myth. It's a myth, and I think a lot of people buy into that myth.
Well, see, the media says and reports Social Security is running out of money, but basically what's taking place is that the reserves that we have on top of the monies that are coming into the Social Security program, those are the ones that are being depleted, because we now have more individuals receiving retirement than people paying into the system.
Okay. So what is the retirement age? When can I start applying for Social Security benefits?
The earliest that you can actually start collecting Social Security retirement benefits is 62 years of age.
Okay.
Anytime after 62 years of age, that is going to be based on your circumstances, your decision as to when you want to take Social Security benefits. Okay.
And I've heard that the longer you wait, the more your benefit is. Is that correct?
Definitely. If you want to receive 100% returning your Social Security benefit, you wait till your full retirement age. And years back, full retirement age used to be 65 years of age, and it still is for those that were born prior to 1938. But today we're working with a category or class of individuals that were born between 1943 and 54. Their full retirement age is 66.
66.
If you were born anytime after 1960, your full retirement age is 67.
Okay, and I've heard, is there talk of raising it again?
Conversation has it that for the younger generation, they are considering moving that to 70 years of
Right.
age. Okay, and we don't really know what's going to happen. Okay, but there's going to be some changes, and that might be one of the changes also.
And how is the benefit calculated? Or I know it's on an individual basis. How can I find out more or less how much my benefit will be when I retire?
Well, we have a standard formula, okay? And the formula that we use is that in projecting your Social Security benefits or determining how much you're going to get, we pull your lifetime earnings, okay? And we do one thing that no other retirement plan actually does is we adjust each one of the years for inflation.
Okay.
Once we adjust the inflation rate for all the years of your lifetime earnings, then we select the 35 years that you had the highest wages. And then we average by the same number, 35 years, and we come up with what we call the average index monthly earnings. What would you have earned during the 35 years during each month that you actually paid into the system? And from there, we determine how much your Social Security benefit's going to be. Okay?
And I sort of can get an idea because I remember in the past, a few months before my birthday, I would get a statement in the mail that would show me how much I paid, and based on what I was earning, what I would expect my benefit to be. Does Social Security still do that?
Yeah, we did away with them in 2011 because of the cost. It was costing the administration $70 million to send those statements on a yearly basis because of the fact that we had individuals, elderly individuals, that did not have access to the internet, did not have any knowledge as to how to access the information through the computer. We brought them back last year, November, but we're only going to send them out every 5 years, such as on your 45th, 50th birthday. Once you're 60, you're going to get them on a yearly basis. But what we're highly recommending is that individuals actually create an account on our website, a personal user account on our website, so that they can access their record on a yearly basis.
Okay. So I can do that. I can go online and create an account, and I can see all the earnings that have been reported and determine an approximate amount of what my benefit will be.
Precisely, and it's the same statement that you used to get on through the mail, and you want to do it on a yearly basis because you want to check the accuracy of your Social Security record. This is how we determine how much you're going to get in form of Social Security benefits. And believe me, we have a lot of employers that actually do issue you a W-2 form at the end of the year,
Right.
but they fail to pay the taxes.
Not only that, I've done shows on identity theft, but it's also a good way to monitor if you haven't been a victim of identity
It's a very
theft.
good tool to actually monitor your record to find out if somebody else has compromised your Social Security number. How do you do it? You actually take your own personal wage statements compared to what Social Security has actually posted on your Social Security account. If your Social Security earnings are higher than your wage statements, that means somebody's already using your statement. So you want to bring it to the attention of the Social Security Administration right away so we can open an investigation.
Sure. And so Social Security is just one part, the retirement. You mentioned at the beginning that there was also disability benefits. Can we touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, disability is for individuals that encounter an illness or a health problem which keeps them from being able to perform any substantial gainful work activity. In other words, they can no longer perform the work that they were doing in the past. And the definition of substantial gainful work activity is that you can no longer make more than $1,090 per month. Okay. So if your medical condition, whether it be visual, physical, or mental, at any age, keeps you from being able to perform those substantial gainful work activities, then you're a likely candidate to file for the Social Security Disability Program.
Is there a percentage that, do you have to be 100%? Can you be 95, 80% disabled, or how does it work?
Unfortunately, Social Security doesn't go by percentages.
Okay.
Either you are disabled or not disabled. And this is where there's a lot of confusion, especially individuals that have been in the military service and
Right.
they're awarded a disability through VA or military service. They're rated anywhere from 10, 20, 30% up to 90% or 100%. We don't do that. Okay, workers' compensation does the same thing. They rate you based on a percentage, but Social Security is either you're disabled or not disabled.
Wow, I didn't know that. So it's either 0 or 100%.
Right.
And you know, I've seen that a lot of law practices have made this a business in helping you fill out these disability forms. Is it very difficult to get that type of disability under Social Security?
As long as there is sufficient medical evidence to support that you are disabled and able to perform your substantial gainful work activity, there is no difficulty in qualifying for these benefits.
Right.
One of the things that you got to recognize that all the services that we actually provide the general community are free.
Right.
Okay, if you reach out to one of those representatives and they represented you and they win your case as far as disability is concerned, then they can actually charge you a fee for representing you.
Right.
Whereas Social Security provides all the services free. And nowadays, it's so easy to actually file for Social Security disability because you can do it electronically from the comfort of your home. You can do it in English, you can do it in Spanish. And you can do it at your own leisure.
Well, that's good to hear because that could save some individuals a considerable amount of money knowing that these services are provided for free.
Yeah, representatives can actually charge you as much as $6,000 in retroactive payments that you receive.
Wow.
So that's a huge sum of money right there.
Okay, and so once I decide to receive Social Security, does it continue until basically I pass away?
Yeah, it's for the rest of your life. Retirement benefits, okay, it's for the rest of your
Right.
life. As far as disability, it's a little bit different because we're going to review your case, okay, depending on the initial decision that we made based on the fact that we reviewed your medical evidence. We're going to determine whether we're going to review your case every 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, okay, because we want to make sure that your medical condition still keeps you from being able to perform those substantial gainful work activities, okay.
Wow.
As far as retirement, it's guaranteed for the rest of your life.
Wow, well, that's interesting. A lot of new things that I didn't know about, and I'm sure we're informing the public about these different things under Social Security. And we will continue on discussing additional topics about Social Security and maybe touch a little bit on Medicare on the next half of Making Sense. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense, and we are going to continue our discussion on Social Security with our good friend Ray Vigil. And we were discussing about retirement, we were discussing about disability. You mentioned something else, survivor's benefits. Can you touch a little bit on that? What is it?
Survivor's benefits, in the event that your spouse actually dies or one of the parents actually dies, there are survivor's benefits extended to the surviving family. Okay, for instance, let's say the husband and wife are married. Okay,
Right.
Husband either because of an illness or an accident dies, precedes the wife in death. There is a surviving spouse, depending on her age. Surviving spouse could also receive Social Security benefits.
Really?
Yeah, at the age of 60, if there's a surviving spouse, 60 or older, then they're potentially eligible to collect a monthly Social Security compensation.
And how about children?
Children under the age of 18, as long as they are unmarried, they're guaranteed benefits up to the age of 18. If they're older than 18 to 19, still attending high school at a full-time attendance, they're also guaranteed a Social Security benefit. And then we also extend benefits to disabled children, disabled adult children who became disabled prior to the age of 22 due to an accident or an illness, or maybe they were born with a disability, they're not going to be able to work at all. They are protected on their parents' record for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
Okay, we have individuals that are over 80 years of age, never worked a day in their life, and because their parents contributed into the Social Security system, they are collecting a monthly compensation from Social Security.
Wow. And these benefits, I guess they're calculated based on the earnings of the deceased parent?
Definitely, yeah. The formula of 35 years,
Right.
okay, that's how we determine. Of course, if we're looking at retirement benefits, we look at the entire lifetime earnings and select the 35 years. If we're looking at survivors benefits and disability benefits, the point that the individual passed away or the point that the individual became disabled determines the number of years that we're going to use in the formula.
And I've also heard, is there a death benefit also?
A one-time payment,
Right.
yeah. There's a one-time payment, and
I've heard it's very
insignificant.
very
Okay,
minimal amount.
$255 that is paid to the surviving spouse upon the death of the other spouse's death, or if there's no surviving spouse and we have children that are eligible to collect the monthly Social Security benefit,
Right.
then it's paid to the children. Okay.
Okay.
So
And I've also heard in instances like past spouses where there's been a divorce and they want to file Social Security and try and get benefits from the ex-husband or the ex-wife. Does that exist?
it does exist as long as individuals were married and in a relationship for 10 years and then it ended in divorce. And if both of them are at least 62 years of age, or if we're talking about survivors benefits, if the surviving spouse is 60 years of age or older, they are also potentially eligible to draw Social Security benefits
Based on the other spouse.
based on the other spouse.
Does it affect the other spouse's benefits?
No, it doesn't, because we can have a spouse, surviving spouse, and we can have a surviving divorced spouse, and both of them are potentially eligible to draw the same amount.
Wow, I think
And
that's
the reason for that is because the survivor spouse's benefit is paid outside the formula that we use to pay the immediate family. Okay?
and I think there's a misconception on that is the I guess whoever is applying on that spouse, they think that their benefit is going to be reduced.
It is a misconception, yes, and it's out there in the community. Okay.
Right. And so let's talk a little bit about Medicare. You said that that's also falls under the umbrella of Social Security.
Right.
What is Medicare?
Well, Medicare is an insurance program, okay? It's a four-part program. It's Part A, hospitalization. Part B, medical insurance, which is a doctor's plan. Part C, which is a different version of the traditional Medicare program, the Medicare Advantage programs.
Right.
And then Part D that came into being in 2006, which is a prescription program,
Right.
okay? When you work and pay into Social Security, or your spouse worked and paid into Social Security and they have more than 10 years, then you're guaranteed premium-free hospitalization. You don't have to pay a monthly charge for it. If you want to submit to Part B, which is the medical part of Medicare, whether you receive Social Security benefits or not, or you're still tied to a monthly premium that you have to pay.
Correct.
And the current premium this year is $104.90. Because of the fact that there was no cost of living increase guaranteed for 2016, those individuals that are already receiving Social Security benefits will be grandfathered into the $104.90. For those individuals that are becoming eligible for Medicare in 2016, or individuals that don't receive Social Security benefits, the premium is going to be $121.80.
And I also have heard a lot of misconception that people think that it's going to cover everything, and it doesn't.
Right. Medicare only covers 80%.
Right.
Okay. So what Medicare actually says that, first of all, this is where making a decision as to when to retire, this is a very significant topic here, Medicare, because if you're going to retire at the age of 62 or before 65 years of age, and you're going to drop your employer's insurance plan, or you don't have any insurance, be aware of the fact that Medicare doesn't come into play until 65 years of
wow.
age. So
Okay.
you're going to have a gap there of 3 years that you have no insurance. Okay, so you have to think twice before you drop
Right.
your insurance at work.
And this is where these Medicare supplement plans come in, where they cover the extra 20%, correct?
Medicare will cover 80%, and then if you don't have any other insurance, you yourself are
I
going to
know,
be
and 20% of a medical
it
bill.
could be outrageous, because it'd be nice if we only saw one doctor,
Right.
and it's 20% out of pocket, right? But you know that when you go to a doctor or you're hospitalized, they're going to send you to 5 or 6 different specialists. So multiply that by 20%, so it's going to be outrageous. So that's why you have to have a supplemental insurance plan to actually back up the out-of-pocket costs.
Good. So let's talk another thing that affects some of the employees here at El Paso Community College. I know that I don't pay into the Social Security system, and a lot of faculty members and administrators do not pay into the Social Security system here at the college because we have either TRS, Teachers Retirement System, or ORP, Optional Retirement Plan. So there's this provision that I've heard, the windfall elimination. How does it affect those individuals, and what type of individuals does it affect?
Okay, the windfall elimination provision, and that came into being in 1985. Basically, what it does is it modifies the Social Security benefit that we actually pay individuals that are receiving a government pension based on non-covered Social Security wages, such as the school districts here in El Paso. They don't pay into Social Security. Personnel from El Paso Community College don't pay into Social Security. The same goes for the Uniform Police Department in El Paso, the Uniform Fire Department, and civil servants, federal employees. They came in under the umbrella prior to 1983. They don't pay into Social Security. So eventually they're going to receive a pension that was based on non-covered Social Security wages.
Right.
Okay?
But can you still collect Social Security benefits?
If you have more than 10 years, more than your 40 credits, you're guaranteed that you're going to get a Social Security benefit. And this is another misconception out in the community, especially in the school districts.
Right.
By word of mouth, they hear somebody say, well, even if you paid into Social Security more than 10 years, because we're going to get a pension from the state, you're not going to get any. And that's a myth. Okay, you are guaranteed that you're going to get a return from Social Security based on the years that you contributed into the system.
But the benefit is going to be adjusted.
Modified, because you are not fully vested under Social Security. And by fully vested, I mean that in order for us to be able to ignore the fact that you're going to get a pension from one of those entities, you have to have more than 30 years of substantial wages paid into Social Security.
And substantial wages, I guess that's defined by the administration, correct?
Social Security has already put a dollar value to each one of the years, 1937 to present, and that defines the year as substantial wages. Okay, so what you basically want to do if you're in that particular situation, you want to actually pull your Social Security statement and compare it to a fact sheet that we have that is titled Windfall Elimination Provision. Right there you will find the years 1937 to present. It will give you the dollar value assigned to that particular year. Compare your personal statement to that fact sheet, and if you can meet or exceed, if you meet or exceed the dollar value assigned to that particular year, you can claim it as a year of substantial wages. If you have more than 30 years, then we don't care if you had a pension from one of those government entities. We're going to use the standard formula to figure your Social Security benefits. If you have less than 30 years, then we're going to modify your benefit depending on the years that you have.
Right. And I think also another misconception is that Social Security benefits, once you start receiving them, especially with retirement, that they're not taxable.
They are taxable.
Okay.
Fortunately, they are taxable. Okay, and that's a IRS rule. And if you're an individual and you have other taxable income based on your 1040, your Social Security benefits, and even if you're a couple, okay, depending on the level of your income, your Social Security benefits could be either subject to being taxed up to 50% or 80% of your Social Security benefits. Right. I will mention this, that there is legislation that was introduced last year that is still pending. I don't know if it's going to pass or not, but there is a proposal to actually exempt Social Security benefits from income tax.
Oh, wow.
So basically, a constituent actually needs to talk to the representative and ask them to support that legislation.
Because I've known some individuals who are collecting Social Security, but they still maybe work part-time or have some investment income, and depending, I guess, on the level that they earn, some of those benefits could be taxable or might not be taxable.
Yeah, it depends on the level of income.
Right.
Okay.
And in essence, just because you collect Social Security benefits doesn't mean you have to be under Medicare, correct? If you're still covered under a health insurance plan?
Well, it depends. It depends. If you're 65 years of age or older, okay, and you want to file for Medicare benefits, remembering that the hospitalization is free, no premium, as long as you have 10 years. A lot of individuals actually elect to take the Part A hospitalization Medicare coverage at 65 years of age. There's only a word of caution out there that if you are still actively employed and you're covered through one of those health savings accounts, you don't want to take and you want to continue participating under that program, you do not want to file for the premium-free hospitalization, because then your employer is mandated to drop you from the health savings account.
Right.
Okay. A lot of individuals are 65 years of age or older. They want to continue working. They want to keep their employer group health plan. Then they have the option to postpone their Part B Medicare until which time they retire.
Okay.
Then Medicare will give them a special enrollment period of 8 months to actually sign up for Medicare at that point without any penalties for late enrollment. And I mentioned penalties for late enrollment because if you're 65 years of age or older and no longer actively employed, you should consider taking Part B Medicare at that point, because if you don't, then your Medicare premium is going to be subject to a 10% penalty for every year
Really?
that surpasses after 65 years of age.
So even if you're gainfully employed and have health insurance coverage, you can pick one of those parts.
Well, you want to pick Part A, but you have the option to postpone your Part B.
Right.
If you're actively employed. And the reason you have the option to postpone Part B is because you're covered through your employer's
Right.
insurance plan. But if you're already retired, even if you have your plan from the previous employer, you want to actually sign up for Part B Medicare. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to be subject to
Wow.
the 10% penalty.
So many misconceptions out there. For example, a lot of individuals that I've spoken to, they think they have to apply for everything, for both Social Security and Medicare, but you don't necessarily have to do that based on your own personal situation.
It's based on your circumstances, okay? So you want to sit down and if you're not sure when you're filing for Social Security benefits through the internet, if you're not sure, always contact the Social Security representative for Social Security office.
And you do have local offices here in El Paso, correct?
We have two offices. We have one at the corner of Gateway and Loma Lane, and then we have one at the corner of Ochoa in Texas.
Yeah, by downtown, correct?
Downtown, right.
And that is, they can do full service there at both of those locations?
Full service, but we actually prefer that individuals call the 800 number, 1-800-772-1213, schedule an appointment.
Okay.
An appointment to either do an interview over the telephone or in person, because we do have individuals. I'm sure you've driven by the Social Security offices in the morning.
It's always packed.
Well, it's packed, but by 7 o'clock, people still start forming lines,
Right.
okay, and the line will wrap around the building, okay. We open at 9 o'clock, and we're open from 9 to 4, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays, we actually close the office to the public at 12 noon.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
So good to know those hours. And during the break, we put up a slide with all this information and also with the information of the Social Security website and how people can obtain their benefits online. Well, I hope this has helped individuals out there who want to know about Social Security, and because it doesn't just affect elderly, young people should be also aware of this, and not only that, they should know information to help their parents and their grandparents.
Definitely.
And I want to thank you, Ray, for coming by and taking time out of your busy schedule to discuss such an important topic. Thank you very much, and this concludes another episode of Making Sense. See you next time. Thank you, Ray.